Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a rando Microsoft Flight Simulator flight. Haven't streamed in a while, so got a little bit of the ambition and motivation to go do a little bit of streaming tonight. So welcome to the channel if you haven't been here before. I'm DJ Ray Ray, and this is DJ Ray Ray Plays, and been playing a lot of the newest version, or the newest update, update 11 from Microsoft. And along with that, I've downloaded a free application, which is called NeoFly. Gives a little bit of career mode to Flight Sim, and I'll probably talk more about it in the flight. But right now, what I'll do is I'll slide on over to NeoFly itself, and we're gonna pick a flight. We are down here in Washington. We're at Walla Walla. In fact, we're at Walla Walla Regional Airport, and we're gonna take an afternoon, evening flight here to somewhere. And I don't know where. That's why I put it in the title somewhere. But let's see what's available here in California. So if we go here, this is Napa County Airport. That actually looks pretty good. And part of what we're going to do today is we're also going to do a little bit of planning, a little bit of flight planning going on as well. So with that, we'll put little nav map over here. And let's take a look at this runway, or some of these runways that are here at Napa, to see if it is usable before we start doing the full up flight. So Kilo Alpha Papa Charlie is our runway, or is our airport rather. And if we take a look here, yeah, we got some cement runways that are here. They seem to all be active. Let's go take a look over here. Yep, our longest runway is 5,895 feet. And there are 58 general aviation parking locations there. So that sounds fabulous. That sounds right up our alley of a nice regional that we could be. Let's go look at what the Google Maps satellite looks like for here. Yep, it looks pretty similar to what we saw on NeoFly and the big maps that are there. So yeah, I think we're gonna plan this one for sure. We'll probably take, we'll see what the wind is gonna be when we get in there. In fact, if we look at the NOAA right now, it's a 240 at 4. So really right down this direction here. And even with the 4975, that could be a good landing spot. Since we are going to be taking our longitude out today, and we'll most likely max out its altitude, let's take a look at some of the landing procedures and see what we have available for 2-4. So just scrolling down here, it doesn't look like we have anything for 2-4, so if we had to go 19er right, anything for 19er right? There isn't. Interesting. Alright, so we would have to kind of deal with something out of 6 or a visual, and wouldn't be too opposed to a visual. But if we did have to do 6, here's a RNAV approach that we would do for that. And we can look at that in our nav chart, ChartFox, if we needed to. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do a new flight plan. We'll save our changes there, and we'll go here, and we'll say we're going to do Kilo Alpha Papa Charlie as our destination, and we'll pop back up here. We'll put Walla Walla, K Alpha Lima, so I spell it right, W. And so if you see from my last flight, we were over here, parking lot 26, so we'll set it up to leave there as well. But we'll set this up here as our destination airport. And so our rough time is going to be an hour 30 flight. But we're going to do better than just a direct flight. We're going to get some actual IFR. So let's flop over to our browser. And let's take a good gander over here at, gotta get it on my screen, and SimBrief. So our last flight was from Sheridan to Walla Walla, and we're flying under what used to be NetJets, now Executive Airlines, so EJA, and we'll use that same flight number today. But we want to create a new flight. So let's go back here. We're going to go EJA, flight 623, and we're departing out of a Alpha Lima Whiskey, and we're going to arrive at Alpha Papa Charlie, and we'll go ahead and let the sim do our alternate. So we're going to select the longitude here. And it pegged us for San Francisco as our alternate here. So I'll take care of that here in a little bit when I switch over. So taking a quick look at what we're going to do in the longitude. So 250 as we get below 10,000, and then we'll go 270 in the climb until we get to Mach airspeeds, and then we'll hold 0.8 Mach with a cruise of 8.2. Now I usually go 8, so we'll bump that down a little bit just to be a little bit more realistic. But we've gotten all of that set out. Big question is now, how many people and how much cargo are we going to carry? So contingency fuel and auto fuel, or reserve fuel, I've got those set to auto here. But in some of our optional entries, I do want to get down here, and I want to have us take a good look to see if we can get the proper number of passengers here. So that being said, in the background I've set 170 to match NeoFlight for how many people, the weight per person. If we go back to NeoFly, bear with me a moment here, we'll see that we're going to be taking 3 passengers in this flight. So I'll go ahead and right click and select to fly so that we can do that. And this is currently how much fuel we have on board, so about 2,100 pounds of fuel, and we're probably going to need a little bit more in order to make it there. So that being said, we're going to select our 3 packs plus our 2 up in the front. So that means going back to the browser, we're going to go ahead and kick that over to 5. And it's also going to automatically preload our freight. So each one of our passengers will be carrying on their 100 pounds of cargo. All right, so if we look at what entries have been suggested to us, we've got this first one here, which is kind of, both of them are pretty much just direct shot except for this one. This is a little bit different, but let's see, this one's going to actually get us on to Jetway 3, and that's what I'm going to prefer. I'm going to prefer that we're going to be utilizing the jetways today. Yep. So that being said, estimated departure runway right now, if we look at the METAR, it says that we're going to be taking off of runway 20, so departure to the southwest. And then looking ahead, we looked at this before, it was 24, but predicted winds might be variable for us. So we've got 6 here. If we have to adjust, we'll do so, but we'll plan on the 6, and we'll plan for the GPS approach RNAV on 6. All right, all of that said and set, I'm pretty sure. So feeling all good about that, we'll do our detailed nav log, and we'll get our NOTAMs and our runway analysis. No step climbs, should actually be pretty easy for us to get to our requested altitude. So let's generate that flight. All right, and we'll check over everything. So departure from Alpha Lima Whiskey and arrival at Alpha Papa Charlie, alternative San Francisco here in the Longitude. We're going to be got about a half hour on the departure time. We're looking at about 1:14 in the air, so that's a little bit shorter than what the little nav map told us. But we will kind of focus in on that there in the flight time for our passengers. All right, so we're going to get that initial altitude and cruise at Mach 0.8, and those are going to be our averages. So we are going to have a little bit of a wind component up against us. That'll be all right. Good with that. Okay, and pretty much all good here. So here is where we're going to kind of focus in on what we're doing fuel-wise. So 42, 48 is going to be what our estimated is going to be for block fuel. And so hopping back over to NeoFly, I'm going to look at my hangar. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so I'm going to look at our hangar because the fuel here isn't enough, so we're going to have to get some fuel. So we'll just select the fuel right there, pop our number in, hit the button, and that's going to cost us just a little under $2,000. We're okay because we're actually rocking the 228. Yeah, it's hard to see against that yellow. X-Man's Bro, hello there. Welcome. Random live stream this afternoon. So thank you for joining. All right, that's all set there. So we'll check the fuel, and that looks good as well. All right, next thing, we're going to go back over to little nav map. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that flight plan that we generated, and we're going to move it on over to our little nav map so we can track it as we fly. Let me get back to the browser there. And I'm just from Flight Sim, or Sim Brief. We're just going to steal that, and we're going to go over here to Flight Plan, and we're going to go Route Description. All right, so we're just going to copy from clipboard, drop that bad boy in. Alrighty, so Walla Walla, and drops in the information to include the cruising altitude for the flight plan, which we can see that's right there. I'll be honest with you, I'm 100% not sure what it means by November 0460. But I do know that is the flight level. Maybe that's the estimated. So this is 460 knots in favor of aircraft performance. All right, so it's ignoring the speed instruction. That's what that is. So that's our speed. But it is going to take the rest of what we got and also ignoring the specifications. All right, good to know. I've actually never seen it do that in that fashion before. All right, so we've got lots of grid lines on here. I really don't have the grid lines, so let me take that off. But let's go ahead and, from the as we look at the Google Maps, this is sort of what it looks like here. In fact, I'm going to turn the online ones off because we're just going to be offline. No, we'll be online, but we won't be on VATSIM. And so that's what it looks like in that chart. However, if we take our high altitude chart, come over here and select our IFR high, that's going to show us a little bit different here. It shows that we're going to be going here to Kimberly, so that's VOR Kimberly, and then we're going to stay on the Jetway 3 all the way down and through here to Napa. In fact, it's Lakeview right here is where we hop off the Jetway. So not a very long segment on the Jetway, but there. And here's our vertical profile. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my old flight. Before we do that, let's go back to our Google Maps. And by importing a flight plan, it doesn't give you the starting location right away. So what we'll do is we'll take that and we'll say, hey, we actually want to start at parking 26 where we took off or where we landed last time. Now I can delete that out of the way and we've got a fresh start. So we're looking for the top of climb, about 55 nautical miles up, and then we'll begin our descent about 135 nautical miles out with our cruising speed at 43, flight level 430. All right, and at that, I feel like we can go ahead and we'll leave the Google Maps on here, but we'll start tracking here, a little nav map, and let's go ahead and get Flight Sim started up. There we go. Didn't quite start out with the game capture like I expected. All right. So here we are And first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll head to our world map. And we'll just check real quick. So Exojet is our call sign for executive jets. And then 623 is our number. We still got the tail number in there as well. All right, so if you remember our fuel state that we put on there, we were going to be block fuel of about 42, 48. So I'm just going to spin this down to we're somewhat close. The good thing is that NeoFly is going to sync that up for us. So that'll be good. We're also taking on our 3 passengers today. So we've got our pilot, our co-pilot, who'll be running my radios as what today. And also, we will be loading up 3 passengers. Each of us will be having 100 pounds of cargo, and so that puts us at about 11% of what our total capacity could be at this fuel level. So everything's looking really good here. What I am going to do is over on the other little nav map screen, I'm just going to export that flight plan that we had for our flight to Napa County. That way we can come down here and we can load that up. Alrighty, so I've got a quick flight plans folder I keep here, and we'll drop that in, and there we go. There is our flight plan. Alright, so there's our gate. So it's all set. Direct departure, and we'll also do a direct arrival because there's really no star. Our approach is going to be, I'm going to leave that set to automatic just because we're not 100% on the wind directions by the time we get there. But there's a little bit of cloud cover as we can kind of see up here in the northwest. And I didn't pay a heck of a lot of attention to the forecast weather. I can probably do that during the brief, but as far as we can tell, no significant weather along the route at the moment. Flight conditions, we'll go ahead and hop over here, and we can take a look at what the runway or what the airport activity is. Really nothing too much going on at the moment. Let's see, I think that is it the time being. So let's go ahead. We're going to hit fly there. Alright, and here we are on the ramp. That's fun. The guy just walked through our wing. So we'll go ahead and hop in the cockpit. So not full fidelity on this aircraft. So we gotta get our, there we go, get our head tracking done correctly. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna just put our co-pilot here on standby. Because I've got her on comms. However, as soon as we turn the jet on, she'll start getting our clearance, and we don't necessarily want that just yet. Alright, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of craziness here. I'm going to actually run through my own checklist pretty quickly. So don't be too alarmed if I'm moving at the speed of quickness. So I do have a Warthog, Thrustmaster Warthog system, so I'll be using a lot of buttons that are on there. So if you ever kind of see me dip my head this way and then back up, that's just me looking at my throttle because it's located on the left side. It's more a configuration for military aircraft than it is in civilians. So as all of our systems are spinning up, we're going to set that FMS source for navigation system there. That way we're getting ready for our our initial climb out of Walla Walla. I like keeping this guy up and full, and I also like keeping my flight plan down here as well. So this would kind of be my general default um, outlining. If I take a look at the stab here, we're actually going to adjust that and get it ready for takeoff. I kind of like doing that early. And at this weight, we'll probably do about -3 on there. Alright, taking a look at our oil pressures and all that. We're showing good indications of 0 on there. And outside, we're looking at about 9 degrees Celsius, which is about -4 under our ISA. Alright, that being said, we're going to want to get the, do some quick adjustment here, we're going to want to get the APU up and going, so I'll toss on the anti-collision lights, make sure we've got our emergencies all set, panels set to day, and parking brake set. Let's go ahead and fire that bad boy up. Ooh, got a mouse spinning problem, so give me just a second. For some reason, haven't quite figured it out yet. The mouse settings on Windows tends to like to jump around, and when it does this, it actually makes using the mouse wheel for functional scrolling and here terrible because it does like 5 lines at a time. So every now and again, it's not every time, to go in there and make those adjustments. Alright, APU is running at 100% and a good EGT right there. So that looks great, and just heard the avionics cooling coming on, so that's great as well. Alright, that being said, we're going to take our first notch of flaps. I'm going to put them in position because we're going to start doing our takeoff weight and balance. So hop down here, and let's go ahead and head to our performance page. We'll start with our weight and balance. So here's our crew and stores. That's us up here in the front. And today we're carrying 3 passengers. And each one of those passengers are 170, and we're bringing along 500 in cargo. Alrighty, so if we take a look at our fuel on board, and there's a 41, exactly, usable fuel of what we had chosen in NeoFly. So we can either enter it in manually, but actually what I like to do is I like to just hit the fob sync. Alright, so that gives us our fuel in gallons and maxes out with pounds, and we'll just make sure that's within tolerance with which it is. Alright, for our reserves, we're going to go back to our sim brief to see what our dispatcher gave us as a fuel reserves number. So give me just a second. I paused my screen so I don't kind of flip you all over the place. But if we look at actually thought it was like right on one of the quick view. But it is not. Yep, so I'll go to the briefing preview. Let's see. So that's actually giving it to me in pounds versus gallons. I could have swore I saw this where it was in gallons for me before. All right, I'm not going to get too wrapped up on the axle on this one. We'll go ahead and leave it there for now. But more importantly, we're going to go to performance and we're going to go to our takeoff data. All right, so our origins here, we're expecting to depart off of runway 20. We'll load up our METAR, and it's 9 degrees outside, so we'll use that one as well. All right, we've got our runway information. That all looks pretty darn good. Takeoff config, all of that looks good as well. And we are looking, we'll take a look at our speed. So V1 and rotate are 106. There's our V2, and there's our VTTO. FTO, sorry. So all of that's good. Hit that as an accept. We look over here in the front, and now we've got those locked in there. I absolutely love the avionics update that Working Title has feverishly worked on. They've done a fabulous job being able for us to be able to use little features such as that one right there for our dynamic planning. All right, now that we got all that good to go, what I am going to do is I'm going to turn on the safety passenger, or the passenger safeties, just to let people know we're ready to load up. So over here on NeoFly, I'm just going to hit the connect and fly button, and we'll start getting boarding.
Good morning, my favorite transporter. Passengers will board as soon as you request. Transporter form dispatch. Boarding passenger, please stand by.
All right, and so as our passengers are getting on board, we can hear that in the background. We're going to use this fun little tool. So this is our pushback tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to pre-plan that pushback. And as we look at where we want to be here in our screen over here, we're going to want to head in this direction. So we're going to get a pushback, and then I'll go ahead and have them spin us around kind of this way so that we can head out and be heading the right way. So click once to set the waypoint, enter to lock it in. All right, good stuff. And then I'll keep that up. And really at this point now, I'll bring my co-pilot up on audio, and we'll have her go ahead and make that call for our clearance, and we'll get ready for pushback.
Walla Walla ground Exejet 62 tree IFR to Napa, ready to copy.
Exejet 62 tree is cleared to Napa Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 20 climb and maintain 14,000 feet. Departure frequency is 133.15 squawk 2355.
Exejet 62 tree cleared to Napa Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 20 climb and maintain 14,000 feet. Departure on 133.15 squawk 2355.
Exejet 62 tree readback correct. Contact ground on 121.6. Good day.
Okay, so we got our clearance, and our initial climb altitude is 14,000 feet. So I've got that locked here in the altitude bug, and then we're running off of the flight management system, and so we're going to have a initial takeoff here of 200 within the aircraft, and then that'll bump up to 250. And since we're going to be using that speed, I'm going to go ahead and click on, and I'd normally be done over here, but I have a button for it. We're going to go and do flight level change. So we're doing flight level change at 200 knots up to that there. And so you can see our flight directors telling us, hey, let's go ahead and head up that way. The other thing is, while they were talking here, I also set our heading bug for magnetic heading of 200, right in line, roughly in line with the runway. I'm going to set our heading there as well. That way this kind of gives us a little bit of a good bug. I have used the takeoff mode before of this aircraft, and it kind of gets a little funky when setting the auto throttle. So we're not going to use the takeoff setting today. I might actually have to do a little bit more research about takeoff mode and how that is working with the avionics update. All right. That being said, we're going to go ahead and give the passengers a seatbelt sign and then go ahead and give them an announcement. So give me just a moment. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our NetJets flight today. We're leaving Walla Walla here in about 10 minutes. We'll get our pushback, and then we'll be climbing up to 43,000 feet. Our final destination today is Napa, and we should be arriving probably in about an hour and 40 minutes there. And I encourage you all to please sit back, put that seatbelt on, keep your seats upright, and I'll go ahead and be able to announce when we'll be able to get the seatbelt out and move around the cabin. For right now, go ahead and sit tight, enjoy, and talk to you in about 20 minutes after we get up into the air and to our cruise altitude. Thanks, and thank you for flying NetJets. All right, that's all set, and we're going to go ahead and we'll mark the signaler, and request pushback. All right, so he'll go ahead and lock in, and while he's doing that, we're going to get the jet prepped to start engines. We're going to do right engine start first. All right, he's locked in, so we'll go ahead and release our parking brake, and we'll go ahead and signal for him to release the hold. Okay, and we'll go ahead and run and start on 2. Got a good indication. All right, got a good start on 2. Go ahead and go for 1. Start on 1. All right.
Walla Walla ground Exejet 62 tree ready to taxi IFR.
Exejet 62 tree taxi to and hold short of runway 20 via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.5 when ready.
Taxiing, hold short runway 20 using taxiway Alpha Exejet 62 tree.
All right, so I got the taxi lights on, the tail flood on, and we're given a straight shot via Alpha to the taxiway, so that's kind of great. We're just going to kick off to the left a little bit over here, and then we'll take off. We are going to pass through some cloud layer here, it looks like, so that should be nice and pretty. One thing I did want to do before we left, and I'll go ahead and put this on COM 2, see what our automated weather is.
Kilo Alpha Lima Whiskey, automated weather observation 0000 Zulu. Wind 206 at 10. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, few clouds at 2,500 feet, ceiling 4,700 feet, overcast. Temperature 9 C, dew point 10 C, altimeter 3002.
Okay, so we got the local altimeter. All right, so we've got the local Dialed in now. Let's see. We got a spam bot in chat, so don't mind that guy. Alright, so we'll let the taxi begin. So what I will do for you is I'll go over here to little nav map, go full screen on that. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh no. I lost little nav map. Where'd she go? 12 again. Okay, check that way, check that way. Let's see, window. Full screen, but I think it's full screening to the main window instead of the side window. It's not what I wanted to do. Oh, there we go. Alright. So, over here, I'll let you guys get a chance to have that there in the corner. Although, oh, that's huge. That's, covers a whole heck of a lot of the screen, though. Might have to resize that in the future. But as of right now, I think we'll just go back to our normal cam. Alright. Pass the ILS hold for today. But we will come up to the hold up here prior to. So that looks like that was the old taxiway to get you all the way up to 2.5, but they've displaced the threshold, so I'm going to hold here at 2.5.
Walla Walla Tower Exejet 62 tree at runway 20 ready for departure IFR to Napa.
Exejet 62 tree, altimeter tree 0.02 wind 206 at 10. Cleared for takeoff runway 20.
Cleared for takeoff runway 20 Exejet 62 tree.
Alright, we're cleared, so lights are coming on. I'm going to start my timer here. Timer started. And as we pull forward, I'll go ahead and shut off the APU. I tend to forget that, so sometimes imperative that I make that work. Okay, again, important that we don't confuse 2.5, which is right in front of us, with 2.0, which we're taxiing to right now. Alrighty, so on the N1 percentage, we're looking to put that to takeoff. Is set. And matched. Off the brakes. And airspeed's alive. And we're looking for 106. 106. Oh, geez. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, 10.
Transporter from dispatch. Fly safe.
A little late on the takeoff, but that's alright. So, gears up, coming up. Flaps coming up.
Exejet 62 tree,
Okay.
contact slope and departure on 133.15. Good day.
Okay, and we've got
133
good takeoff.
15
Okay, so we're given clearance to go right to India Mike Bravo. So I just clicked us over to FMS, and so now we're holding the climb 250, climbing up to flight level 140, and beautiful. Beautiful clouds. We're going to break through here. Yep, this is one of the reasons I like letting co-pilot run the radios, because there's a lot to do and talk to. We'd probably miss quite a bit on the stream. All right, through this thick layer here. Above 10,000, so the lights are going to come off.
Exit 623 climb and maintain flight level 260.
Okay, they're giving us flight level 260. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-plug in our cruising altitude. Most likely is as quick as we're going to climb. They're just going to give that to us as we climb up. We are going to get a little bit of a boost, I think, here. So winds 318 for 55. So we are going to get a little bit of a push. That's nice. I'm not sure how much time it's going to shave off, but we shall see. So we're looking to get to the Kimberley VOR in just under 15 minutes. And I run my screen here for cumulative and fuel remaining. All right, so we're above 18,000. We'll go ahead and select standard on the Barrow. Of course, we can still keep that preloaded, and same here as well if we wanted to. Okay, Barrows are set. All right, and now it should be a nice little cruise climb. This thing is a rocket, for sure. All right, let's hop out. Let's hop outside the plane, take a look. Fabulous. Okay, so looking here, just keeping an eye out to see if we have any traffic we have to worry about from our traffic advisory system. As I look at little nav map, can you get out of the plane on the ground? The answer to that is kinda. If you go into camera view settings and you adjust some of the settings, you can move around the cabin a little bit. I think I have them set up here, so you can kind of move this way, that way, and if there's an open door, so on some planes you are able to go outside, but this particular one is locked, so I would actually have to change some of the file settings to be able to go outside. Hello, X-Men. Hope you're doing well today. We're just doing a impromptu streaming flight. I've got a Lizzie Beanie Weenie Corgi Wargi under my feet right now, who's helping me fly this Longitude. And we're flying to Napa Valley. Well, hello, Fly Mavic. Welcome to the channel, and please enjoy your Princess Corgi. All right, I'm gonna pull up a little nav map here. Now we can kind of sort of see a little bit like where we're at in the world. Let's see. What do I want to do? View. Map. Projection. Theme. Ah, here we go. Theme. So this is a satellite view right now, but let's go to what a IFR theme looks like. So, yep, and got a southwest plane there. Looks like we've got kind of another non-airline named plane that's there. We can move a little bit along the way. Doesn't look like we're running into anybody, so all good there. And I'm looking to the side of me, my side screen, in case you're wondering why in the cockpit it kind of looks in the other direction. All right.
Climb and maintain flight level 420, exit 62 tree.
All right, so we're all the way up to, gonna go all the way up to 420 for a final of 430. All right, so I'm going to take this moment to gonna lock in the track IR, so we can just kind of look at out the window and the displays for a moment. But I'm going to step away, grab something to drink. But if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask, or anything they're interested about, either about flight sim or the Longitude or just flying in general, please feel free to ask them in the chat. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. So we'll see you then. All right, and we are back. And by we, I mean me and the little corgi, who is Princess Beanie Weenies. Alrighty, so hopping over to our full screen map here. So we're getting ready to come up to Kimberly, and we are at our cruising altitude. So we're pretty much right on track of where we were looking to have near our top of the climb, so that's great. And then once we hit the Kimberly VOR, we'll hop on that Jetway 3, and we're going to ride that all the way down to the other VOR, which I can't think of, so let's see what it is. Lakeview. Yep, it is Lakeview is going to be our next location there.
Exit 623 contact Seattle Center on 128.15.
All right.
Good day.
There is an Alaska jet that's here, maybe a little bit below our altitude. Let's see if we can find them.
Seattle Center, ExitJet 623, flight level 430.
All right, so if we look on the screen here, we'll see their little dot, and they're 8,100 feet below us. So let's take a look off the nose, see if we see any jet stream or con screen. Oh yeah, look at that, right over there. It's probably really hard to see, but I'll come look over here. But yeah, we do have another flight. That's probably most likely an AI flight. That's passing us at about below 8,000 feet from us. See their little condensation trail behind them. Oh, look at that. I'm saying all this and you guys can't see. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's right over there. Right off the left wing here. Alrighty, off they go. That Alaska flight. Alright, so we do have Mach 0.84. Actually means that during flight planning I kind of dorked that up, because I went the other direction. I actually took 0.02 Mach off of what I was planning versus what the FMS has got dialed in. So I'm good with that. It's going to pop up red a little bit just because we're right on the airframe red line at speed, but I'm pretty good with that. What I'm really impressed about is the 525 knot ground speed that we've got with our tailwind coming from the northwest there. All right, so yeah, sitting up here at 43,000 feet, I'm doing good. Today is it's a nice Saturday. I happen to have yesterday off of work, so the wife and the corgi, we all went to have a little brunch breakfast down in a town that's nearby called Ocean Springs, and everyone loves to see Lizzie sit on the bench between us and sit there and wait for a piece of egg or cheese or bread, because she's a Carbosaurus. And people walk past and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, look at the corgi, it's just sitting there being so good." And we're like, "Yep, that's Princess Lizzie." So Then played a little bit for the King yesterday as well. Did the what was that? The dungeon crawler, I think was the what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the module, but the chapter, the scenario situation. I don't know. But yeah, for the King, great game. Lots of fun. And then today I've actually been doing some painting. I've got a couple clan. I'll have a BattleTech clan star that I'm painting in the colors of clan Wolf, and I was originally going to go with a red, like a straight, like parade color red. And after doing a little bit more research and looking on camo specs online and unit color compendium, I always get that wrong how you say that. I actually found a color scheme that I liked more with a like a sand brown or a sand tan on top of the mechs, and then a darker kind of a gray on the bottom. And so I'm using some Army Speed paints to paint the base color coats on those. So I got the tan down at Sand Golem is the tan color. It turned out a little bit darker than what I was expecting it to, and kind of / hoping to. But I still think it looks good, especially if you have like some brighter light on it. I think the thing was I went out there drying, they were sitting off on the side of the table, and they look a lot darker when they're not in kind of direct, gameplay light. But I'm liking how it's coming along. Because that clan set also came with a couple elementals as well. And in fact, now that I think about it, I think these are the ones that came from the Clan Invasion box. Because it did come with elementals, and I think that's why there's elementals came with it. Could be wrong. Listen to ATC there. But anywho, so there's one of, if not the favorite mech that's in there is a Timberwolf or a Mad Cat if you're a dirty clanner, or a dirty IS interspherer. So yeah, the Mad Cat, also known as the Timberwolf, is in there, and then also have got a, what is that, an Executioner. There's a Puma in there. Blackhawk? Yeah, Blackhawk. And missing another one, which I can't think of at the moment, which is fine. There's also two elementals. And so I originally was going to paint the elementals in the same theme as what I was going to do for the Clan Wolf paint scheme. But after painting one set and seeing how teeny tiny the elemental set is, I said, you know what, let me go back to the Clan Jade Falcon ones that I did, and let me use the theme colors for that as well. So I set the base coat at those, and so those two elementals, I think I'm going to do a little bit of acrylic coats on top of those base coats to give it some highlights and some details. But one set's going to be for Clan Wolf, and the other one's going to be for Clan Jade Falcon. So, yep, went a little bit off script, and I'm kind of happy with it. So that just in case I play like one-on-one with my man Cub, we'll each get a set of elementals on our teams.
Generic 1 November Delta, your tree 2 miles south. Descend and maintain 6,600 feet. Expect vectors visual runway tree for approach.
So yeah, that's how I'm doing. Oh, one more thing. I did try my first hand at doing water decals or water-backed, water-soluble decals on my FedCom, so Federation Combine or FedCom, uh, the FedCom paint set, which I did for the game of Armored Combat set, so the main mech warrior or BattleTech rather set that you can buy. So that comes with eight different mechs in them.
Seattle Center, Exigent 6-2 tree, flight level 430.
So I've got these teeny tiny decals that are the FedCom symbol or the logo for that faction. Might have got a little over my head because they are so tiny, like so tiny. And I had to buy a setting solution in order to glue them and hold them in place. But when I went to go cut them, definitely can't use even the smallest set of scissors I have, so I had to get an X-Acto knife and kind of cut around. And of course, they're circles, the FedCom symbol is, so that was super difficult to cut a circle around the logo, and so that the transfer, transferred over. But after getting a couple on the arms of the awesome 8Q mech, I put a couple more on 3 others, and after my fingers were cramping from all the teeny tiny movements of tweezers and fingers and stuff, I was like, okay, I'll do the rest of these probably another day. But yeah, how is everyone else doing out in internet land? Awesome, good to hear. I know the X-Men, you have been streaming some Poppy Playtime VR. Have you been doing any more of that lately over in your channel? Gotcha. Not as much.
Alaska 1423, contact Seattle Center on 128.15.
I do enjoy his Poppy Playtime VR. It's a little scary in some parts, especially when things are coming at your face hole. You didn't even know. Alright, we'll take a quick look back over here at little nav map as we're starting to get close now over here at Lakeview. In fact, Lakeview is about 21 miles away from us, and we'll be reaching that in about 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So once we cross over that, I'll actually pull up our charts, our nav charts, for our approach, or options for approach, into Napa, because we can do a little bit of pre-planning and stay ahead of the flight. That way we're not trying to quickly, hand jam some stuff in to the flight computer at the same time we're trying to make our approach and descent. So with that, let me lock this view from the headset tracker so don't make you all nauseous, because I gotta hop around a little bit to get to where I want to be. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the browser. And here on the browser, chat's over it a little bit, but so we're planning on landing at runway 6, and preferred we're going to do the GPS approach, the RNAV GPS approach. So if we come down here, that's an LNAV approach. That'll get us 480 feet above the ground before our decision altitude. But it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. We will most likely, though, get vectored over to either Rosa or possibly maybe directly to Point Reyes, IFR, I'm sorry, VOR, before we go to kind of line up for Whittle. So hopefully they give us Rosa. That's kind of along the path that we're already expecting, and then come on in that way. So we're expecting to descend but down to 5,000 feet on our way there, and we'll use the air traffic controller to bring us down. What I will do is I will set us for at least a descent to 5,000 in our vertical navigation, so we can at least try to get a nice smooth descent when we start getting out of the flight levels. So I'm going to keep this bad boy up for the time being. Let's see. Yep, I'll just kind of do that. But if we need to go back to reference that, we can. And back to the cockpit. Alright, so we've already made our turn off the jetway, so we're heading direct to Kilo Alpha Papa Charlie, and we're looking for it to still take another 28 minutes. So our jetway didn't get us all the way there, but this direct to there should be pretty good. But yeah, still got a bit of a ways to go. Now, this is where we can actually start fiddling with getting the computer set up for that approach that we planned. So if we come down here And one of the first things I want to do is I want to take a look at our weight and fuel again and come down here to landing. So I just want to make sure that we've still got good excess fuel. There's nothing I have to worry about diverting. And even with our 96 gallons of spare fuel, we're looking pretty darn good. So that being said, all good there. So let's go over to our procedure. Now, if we're looking at our approach in is going to be this RNAV, which is an LNAV plus V. So essentially, that's not going to give us the extreme precision that we'll get out of a LPV approach, but it will get us pretty darn close with some vertical guidance. And so we'll still keep a good eye on things. As I said before, I think we're going to get ROSA, but I'm not 100% sure. But I want to keep it there just for the sake of knowing that it's there. I also said that 480 was going to be our minimums for Barrow. And if we wanted to see what that approach looked like, I could actually hit it. Preview and see what it looks like here on the map. And we would basically hit Rosa, cruise on down here to Whistle. We'd actually cut it a little close. Hit C-band, and then Zapex, and then all the way in the rest of the way. So we'll turn that off, get back to our normal map. So I'll have all that there on standby. But what I want to do now is let's look at what landing performance is going to be doing for us today. So click there, and so if we choose runway 6 as our landing, we'll see if we can pull up what the weather data is right now. And we're actually still going to be getting a tailwind from landing in that direction. It's not going to be a lot. It's going to be 3 knots, but we don't have a precision approach going the opposite direction. And unless they give us visuals, which they might still, I'm probably going to ask to do it this way anyway, just for demonstration purposes. Looking at our runway, we're still good there with our runway distance, even though it's the smaller of most of the runways. And our runway heading is 063. One thing I do normally change here for landing configuration is I like to get pretty low with the auto throttles, so pretty much down to minimums, keep the auto throttles on. And I do that by taking it out of FS mode and putting it to the approach speed, which, oh, by the way, it's calculated our approach speed for us, looking at our available distance and our required distance. So we're good to go there. And we do have that 2-knot tailwind, as it's kind of what we're 2-knot tailwind, a 2-knot crosswind. Again, kind of what we're expecting to use this out of a non-visual approach. But our approach speed, which will lock in, and we'll end up locking that in going to manual mode on the speed control. But I'm definitely good with that. So hit the button there, and voila, the new avionics package brings it up here. It's great. All right, so we're pretty much all set. So when they let us know we can start descending, we'll start making anticipated turns to be able to get to runway 6 approach. And as I just went skulls up here, looks like we got some growing high altitude clouds. That's kind of cool. Don't get many of these, but that also means that there's moisture up here. And that being said, so we look at what our temperature is. So our relative air temperature is negative 28 degrees Celsius with a static of negative 59. We probably do have to keep a pretty good eye out to make sure we're not getting any icing. Now, the icing protection in this plane is pretty awesome and automatic, but just in case we get some structural icing, I'll have to keep an eyeball on that. We'll keep poking our heads kind of left and right out the wings to make sure they are good. Okay, keeping a quick look out the window here for any unidentified objects. Maybe they're balloons. Maybe it's surveillance equipment. Maybe it's aliens. I don't know. Tell me what you think down in the comments. What there could be just flying either 40,000 feet or sorry, yeah, 40,000 feet or 60,000 feet above U.S. territory.
Exigent 623, contact Oakland Center on 128.8. Good day.
128.8 Exigent 623. Oakland Center Exigent 623, flight level 430.
Exigent 623, Oakland Center. Continue as planned.
All right, Oakland Center's got us, and means we're actually getting pretty close to the Bay Area. We're also getting close to these high altitude clouds. So according to our flight planning over at Little Nav Map, we should be beginning our descent probably about 6 minutes or so. Now, I've been a bad pilot, and I've left the seatbelt sign on for these poor passengers. I'm pretty sure they haven't paid attention to it. They never do. But I will start making the descent announcement. Oh, that was something I was gonna do. I was gonna set up a VNav profile. So if we head over to our flight plan, we go here to VNav. So VNav's enabled, and on the descent, kind of what our descent schedule is. in our cruise selection. Oh, good to know that I could change that if I really wanted to. From there. I'm going to experiment a little bit here. I'm going to just put our 5,000 approach as part of the descent phase. And then when it gives us our direct descent, let's see if we can just utilize that. Yep, nope, we're gonna have to do it each time, so that there.
Exeget 6-2 tree contact Oakland Center on 1 tree 2.2. Good day.
1 tree 2.2 Exeget 6-2 tree. Oakland Center Exeget 6-2 tree, flight level 430. Exeget 6-2 tree Oakland Center, continue as planned. Exeget 6-2 tree descent and maintain flight level 340.
All right,
Descend and
here we go.
maintain flight level 340, Exeget 6-2 tree.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll set our descent down to 320, and we'll select VNAV. And to get us on the path, we'll go ahead and we'll just get us here into the descent. And so what I did was I put us in vertical speed mode, but enabled vertical descent, so that what we'll do is we'll catch up to we'll catch up to the glide path, and then it should lock that in, and we'll just maintain that glide path the rest of the way. I think 320, let me check with my co-pilot here. And I think that's what they asked us to descend to. Oh, 340. Alright, so descend 340. Here we'll maintain this descent rate. So we start picking up the pace a little bit on the descent itself. little bumpy, a little bit of turbulence. We'll probably get the passengers' seatbelt sign back on. I'll just make a quick announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're starting our initial descent into Napa Valley. I appreciate your patience and your flexibility, especially when I left that seatbelt sign on. But thank you for those who are pro flyers and knew exactly when they were allowed to get up and move around.
Descend and maintain flight level 260, exit 62 tree.
So we're expecting probably about another 20 minutes until we're in on touchdown and deplaning. So please, if you have any concession items or any other items, other loose items at this time, so it's a good time to start putting them away or start packing them up, as we will be entering in our final descent quite shortly, within the next 5 to 10 minutes here. So thank you for flying with us as always, and I'll talk to you soon. Alrighty, talking to the passengers, not doing a fabulous job of keeping us on track, so I've got us descending a little bit faster so we can get back onto the descent path, but that's also allowing us to have a little bit less power in the cruise, as we're still holding that descent speed of 0.8 Mach. Yep, see that? I'm gonna blip United flight. It's off to our right. I was looking at this. There's a Southwest flight a little ways ahead, but no factor. Popping through the clouds here. Let's keep an eye on our icing indication. Alright, and we're down.
And maintain flight level 180, exit 62
And we're down to 180 now. Should go ahead and lock us in on that last descent leg before I let the passengers know we'll start in our final descent. All right, cleared all the way down. All right, so we're given 2-4, which was again kind of opposite of what we were asking for. I'm gonna call them up. We're gonna continue the descent here, but I'm gonna call them up and see if we can't get that approach for 8. Give me just a second here. let's see if we can select another approach. We're looking for the RNAV to 6 via the ROSA transition. And let's request that approach.
ExitJet 62 tree would like RNAV runway 6 approach ROSA transition.
ExitJet 62 tree, you are 64 miles north. Descend and maintain 2,800 feet. Expect RNAV runway 6 approach via ROSA transition. Circle to land runway 24. Clear to ROSA.
Descend and maintain 2,800 feet. Expect RNAV runway 6 approach via ROSA transition circle to land runway 24. Clear to ROSA ExitJet 62 tree.
All right, well, they're not going to give us the circle to land, so... I mean, I guess we'll take the visual 2-4. Yeah.
ExitJet 62 tree would like visual runway 24 approach.
ExitJet 62 tree, you are 55 miles north. Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 24 approach.
Okay, so...
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 24 approach ExitJet 62 tree.
Okay, so we're gonna go to our procedures. We're gonna go to approach. We are gonna go visual for 2-4. We'll do straight on those. Let's go ahead and load that up.
Alaska 1260 traffic in sight. Air Canada 571 traffic in sight.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are now in our final descent into Napa Valley. Ask that you stow all your electronics and your loose items and return to your seats, backs, tray tables up and stowed. And we'll be in the ground here, on the ground here, oh, not in the ground, ooh, that would be terrible, at about 15 minutes. Alright, so they did not give us a heading. They did not give us a heading on this visual, so we're
ExitJet 62 tree, please expedite your descent 2,000 feet.
Yep, Wilco. Alright, so let's go ahead and lock us in at about 1,000-foot descent. Since we're going to have to, I mean, basically we're going to be shooting a little long.
United tree 74 contact Oakland Center on 126.8
Good day. Going to 126.85 United 374.
All right, now we're going to start the quick descent in. You're at about 4,000.
SkyWest 5829er is passing 17,000 feet, climbing flight level 230. SkyWest 5829er Oakland Center altimeter 30.05. Continue as planned.
Did kick the VNet off,
Contact Oakland Center on 127.8.
which I did not intend to do.
Going to 127.8 Exejet 62
Let's see if we can get 2,000.
Oakland Center Exejet 62 tree is at 13,300 feet, descending 2,000 feet. Exejet 62 tree Oakland Center altimeter 30.04. Continue as planned. SkyWest 5411 contact Oakland Center on 132.2. Good day. for SkyWest 5411.
All right. Altitude now is we're passing through 10,000 feet. So I've got the landing lights on and set. We're going to get the local altimeter here, which is 30.04. We're getting down to 2,000 feet.
Exejet 623 Airport is at your 11 o'clock 14 miles. Maintain present heading and altitude report runway in sight. Exejet 623, I have the runway in sight. Exejet 623, you are 13 miles north of Napa. Turn left, heading 170. Contact Napa Tower on 118.7.
Okay, we're going to go heading
Turn left,
170 now.
Tower on 118.7, Exejet 623.
Okay.
Napa Tower, Exejet 623, 11 miles north inbound, visual runway 24 approach. Exejet 623 Napa Tower. Altimeter 30.04, wind calm, cleared visual runway 24 approach. Cleared visual runway 24 approach, Exejet 623.
All right, so I'm actually going to bump us out just a bit here because I actually feel that would cut us up a little too much.
Exejet 623, wind calm, clear to land runway 24. Clear to land runway 24, Exejet 623.
All right, so we're moving fast. So we got to slow it down just a little bit here as we come over this mountain range. But we can see actually our one runway over here. And then once we get past, we should be able to begin our full descent. Alright, so I'm actually going to get our flaps in, get our gear down. We're going to lock in that approach speed of 126, I think is what our approach speed was, or is. All right. We're now at full flaps. And our turn towards the runway. Okay, there's our minimums.
Transporter, almost done. Go to the parking.
Okay, speed brakes are out. Thrust reversers on. Alright, we'll take us all the way down to the end here, just so we don't have to stand on the brakes. Alright, yep, I would have preferred not the visual. I really wish they would let us go around to 6 just because of where that mountain range was, but hey, we made it work. We made it work indeed. Alright.
Exit 623, contact ground on 121.7.
Going to 121.7 exejet 623.
Okay, so we got the flaps coming up. We've got speed brakes are retracted. And we're going to go ahead and work our way back here to ground. And we'll go ahead and stop here at this this runway hold. And thank you. I appreciate the compliment on the landing there. Boop. Thank you very much. All right, so let's go ahead and talk to air traffic control here and get taxi to parking.
Napa ground exejet 623 request taxi to parking.
Exejet 623 taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha cross runway 1 left Alpha Charlie Hotel Juliet.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha cross runway 1 left Alpha Charlie Hotel Juliet exejet 623.
All right, sounds good. So we've got our taxi clearance. while we're here, I'll go ahead and start our APU up. That way, when we shut our engines down, we'll still have all the power that we need to run the systems. So zoomed back in on our map here. Now one thing as a simulationism is this map doesn't tell us what the taxiways are, so we just kind of have to keep an eye out because we're looking for Alpha 1. It's probably up here somewhere, and then I'll see if the sim will show me actually which parking spot we're going to park at. That way we don't have to drive around a bunch of circles and wait until or not wait, but like look and find the person with the marshalling wands. Alright, so yeah, not too bad. We're really right in where we said we were going to be. An hour 11 is what I've got on the timer here. In fact, I could probably stop the timer if I wanted to stop. So we made really good time with the tailwind that we had. Alright, so I'm going to use my little taxi ribbon button. It kind of shows me where we in general need to go. So this way. Let's make sure we find the right taxi spot. Vehicle, you can stay there. Alright, looks like it's just up here. I think it's gonna be where that power unit is over there. So, that'll actually work out pretty well. Alright, let's come along this way. Sure we don't get too close to that building. Walk around the King Air here. Yep, this is our marshaller. Oh, yep. All right, so yep, there's our wands. All right, start waving us in. All right, we are good. Give her the chocks in simple. I will wait on our parking brake because parking brake ends up triggering the passengers to leave. So we'll do a quick look. All right, APU is on. I've got, let's get the taxi light off. Let's see, tail flood, we can turn that bad boy off. Turn the seatbelt signs off. People can, they can start getting their luggage. Alright, we'll just start shutting these guys down.
In progress. Stand by.
Alrighty, now we can greet the passengers and get high fives. High fives as they're all like, "Oh man, you're the best pilot ever. You greatest." Not really. They're probably like, why did it take so long?
Transporter, disembarkation finished. Have a nice day.
Alrighty. Thanks, dispatch. You too. Alright. Last fuels totalizer looks good. That's all we planned. That is great because I've been working with trying to get the fuel estimates down pretty spot on. In fact, let's just see what was our remaining. Oh, it didn't have remaining. Yeah, okay, sweet. Bloop. All right. Yeah, high five. Very nice. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and call the stream. But thanks everyone for joining. So we did just about almost exactly 2 hours, but I appreciate folks coming and hanging out. Plenty of great stuff here on DJ Ray Ray Plays, not only on Twitch, but also on YouTube as well. And also be sure to check out some of my other friends who happen to stream, to include the X-Men and X-Man's Bro, as they do some of their streaming on Twitch exclusively. Alrighty, well thanks everyone, and remember, gaming and gunpowder, live by one, die by the other. Peace.